What's going on? It is yours truly. Y'all know what it is. Mr. Taliaferro. I gotta straighten that out a little bit. They like the Time Love Support hoodies. They're on the way and they will be for sale soon. What's up, y'all? Boston Celtics Game 3 against Milwaukee. Now, Boston did get a split. They won Game 1. Didn't look good in Game 2. They came the ball out in Game 3 early on. This was a good game. Let's get into this highlight, ladies and gentlemen. A little bit of commentary and reaction afterwards. Good game to watch early on. Boston's up 5, and Kyrie with the stellar crossover step back on Eric Bledsoe has him lost and then drills the 3. It's 10-2 Boston early. Giannis came to play as well, going right at Al Horford. Al Horford had played a couple decent games on Giannis defensively, especially Game 1 is pretty good. Giannis came the ball out, though, in Game 3. Another take from Giannis, but he wouldn't be outdone by Kyrie Irving in this first half. He goes and 1. The stars were stars in this basketball game early. Snell to the rim, blocked by Jaylen Brown. That is beautiful. Jaylen Brown's been balling the playoffs. Other end, swing that thing around. Jaylen Brown helped his team defensively. Now he drills a 3 offensively. Boston's up 9 now, starting to get away from Milwaukee. More good Boston basketball. This time is Marcus Morris from the same spot Jaylen Brown drilled that 3. Boston will go up double digits. It's an 8-point game here, and Pat Connaughton will drill the 3. A lot of Giannis penetration helping his team out. We're going to swing this thing around. Beautiful basketball. Again, more Giannis penetration leads to an easy 2. He can literally take 2 steps and end up at the rim. It's a good basketball game here. Let's go to the third quarter. More Kyrie Irving. He had 29 points in his basketball game. At points, he was phenomenal through the first 3 quarters. Another nifty move from Kyrie. Look at this, man. Maybe the best finisher in the NBA. That's crazy. He's a guard. Let's keep this thing moving. Milwaukee's up a point now, and Jaylen Brown decides to disrespect Giannis again. His second dunk on Giannis. Oh, man, this year. Right in the grill of the Greek Freak. But the Greek Freak will get the last laugh. He's like, okay, I see you dunking. I'll raise you a lay-in. Beautiful one. Finger rolling it for 2. We're tied at 79. And then all of a sudden, Milwaukee would just go off, courtesy of George Hill, Chris Middleton, and then Giannis would get in the mix as well, swinging that thing over in the corner. How about George Hill starting to put together a very memorable career? Look at George Hill taking over 21 big points off the bench in 29 minutes. You gave Giannis some help. He had been looking for that help, and he put this thing away. He goes and 1. Milwaukee would go on a crazy run in this basketball game. Look at that pump fake. And oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Giannis getting to the rim in 2 steps. And then Chris Middleton a drill a 3. He had 20. Some big 3-pointers. Giannis with a big block here on Ajule. I love saying his name. And then on the other end, as Giannis goes for 32 points, 13 rebounds, and 8 assists. And I am shocked by the lackluster performance from the Boston Celtics in the end of the third quarter and the fourth quarter in this basketball game. And look up, ladies and gentlemen, the Boston Celtics, who worked so damn hard in Game 1 to steal home court, they're now probably in a must-win situation as the Milwaukee Bucks take the 2-1 series lead in this best of 7. Yeah, Giannis was absolutely phenomenal. 8 for 13 from the field, but get this, 16 of 22 from the free throw line. Boston was complaining a lot after the game. If you watched the post-game presser, Kyrie Irving was very upset at some of the calls that Milwaukee got. Again, Giannis by himself got to the free throw line 22 times. Obviously, that will make anyone upset. He was getting that MVP treatment. A lot of, you know what? I watched this game live. I thought Boston was pushing a lot. But you know what the problem was? They got away with it a lot in Game 1 and Game 2. The refs were letting them in Milwaukee get away with a lot of it. And they tried to bring that same physical play to Giannis. There's only so many ways to guard a guy that's that big, that strong, that long. So they tried to bring that same intensity and effort, and the refs went rocking with him tonight. That's really what it came down to. They were called for a lot of fouls. Some of their guys got into big-time foul trouble. Jaylen Brown fouled out. And, you know, that Milwaukee Bucks team got on the free throw line. And when Giannis was getting so many calls, at that point, I believe in that third quarter, Boston started to back away from Giannis. And at that point, if you're not pushing him, he's going to get to the rim. And when he started to get to the rim, I really believe that opened up a lot of those passes for him to get into shooters, and they were just swinging that thing around the perimeter. And guys like Chris Middleton and George Hill, and even some of those other shooters like Ilyasova made a big basket or two. They were lighting it up. Pat was making some threes. I'm still looking for Eric Bledsoe to have a big game. Tonight he gave me 9 points, 4 for 15 from the field. Not good enough. Not good enough to, if this team thinks they're going to compete with the likes of Boston for the rest of this series, maybe Toronto or Philly in the next round, and then, hell, who knows, you get to the finals. Your point guard has to be better than what he's been right now. He's gotten bailed out by a couple big-time performances. He's by some other guys. He needs to be better. He has not been good. He's going into playoff mode again. He's on that list of guys, man. I got a list of guys who kind of evaporate on me in the playoffs. I got DeRozan. I got Lowry. I got Paul George hasn't been great in the playoffs. Westbrook ain't been great in the playoffs. Harden ain't been great in the playoffs. And somewhere along that list, Eric Bledsoe makes his way on it. I got a list of guys who very good in the regular season with no pressure on them. Put a little pressure on them. Expect baskets from them. And you gotta look around. They start giving you the googly eyes. You know what I mean? So I'm expecting more from Eric Bledsoe. I will say this. Malcolm Brogdon is on his way back. Now, he hasn't been cleared to play yet. He's been out with that plantar fasciitis. If I'm saying that wrong, please forgive me. I'm not a health guy. But he's been out for a few weeks now. And he's supposed to be back either game 4 or game 5. I'm thinking with the Bucks winning that game, I think he'll be cleared and ready to go for game 5. Definitely the next round he'll be ready to go. But I'm thinking he's going to give this thing a go in game 5. I don't know where his health at, but I've heard Mike Budenholzer, the head coach of the Milwaukee Bucks, say he's looking good in practice. He's practicing going pretty hard. So if he's the same Brogdon that the Bucks had in the regular season, I think that would open up things for Eric Bledsoe. In regards to Boston, honest to God, truth, they just need to play their same basketball game that they played in the first half. You know, it's not like I think they need to make a super adjustment. The refs wasn't rocking with them a lot. They got frustrated, got in their feelings, and they kind of let the Bucks just kind of run all over them. They're doing the best job they can on Giannis. You know, Giannis made a lot of free throws. 22 out of his 32 points from free throws. Or 16 out of his 32 points from free throws. That's half his points. You know, he didn't score anything outside of the paint until his last basket. I mean, what do you want me to say? Like, the dude, it was either at the paint or the free throw line. Like, what else do you want me to say? Like, they're doing a decent job of making him be a driver. They just didn't get the calls tonight. They're keeping him out of the lane, a lot of it. You know, honest to God truth, I genuinely believe Boston just needs to play the basketball game that they played in the first half. That thing needs to translate over third quarter, fourth quarter, and I think they'll be fine. You know, Kyrie was pretty good. Still taking a lot of shots to get to his point production at my point guard. I don't like that. When my point guard is taking that many shots to give me 29 points, 22 shots to give me 29. I don't like that. But if you look at that Boston starting 5, I mean, you got production from everybody. Jaylen Brown gave you 18. I mean, Jason Tatum gave you 20. I mean, what else could you ask for? Al Horford gave you 17. Sheesh, Marcus Morris gave you 16. I'm looking at this stat sheet here. I mean, that's a lot of production from your starting 5 with Kyrie giving you 29. Not a lot from the bench. Ajule had 8. And then you had Gordon Hayward with 10. Still don't know what to do with Gordon Hayward. You gave him 33 minutes. I don't know. Maybe that's just still too many minutes for Gordon, man. Terry Rozier, only 14 minutes. 0 points. That's not good. This guy was the starting point guard for this team in their postseason run last year. I just think that team responds better to Terry Rozier at point guard than they do Kyrie. Again, they're better with Kyrie. I just think they respond better to Terry Rozier's body language. I think he relates to more of the players better than Kyrie do. But they're going to have to figure it out. Because if they lose game 4, all of a sudden, we might be watching the last game that Kyrie Irving ever plays in Boston. Big win for the Milwaukee Bucks to take home court back as they win this bad boy 123-116. We got a game numero cuatro Sunday, I believe, in Boston. I came from nothing, but I want everything God has for me. I interview celebrities. I talk sports. I still represent the culture.
I got the kids. They are now tuned in.
Yo, we locked in right now, Mr.
Mr.Taliaferro.
Shout out to Mr. Taliaferro.
You're watching Mr.Taliaferro TV.
Mr. Taliaferro TV, here with the triple B's, you can't do nothing but win.